Welcome to Parnell Park for this go-ahead Dublin Senior Club encounter of Kilmacud, Crokes and Cuala. It's a breezy day, it's a cold day, it's a dark day. Kilmacud, Crokes and Cuala are already through to the quarter-finals. Lucan have already won the group. So the question today is, in what order will they go through? Second plays third in the other group and third plays second in the quarter-finals. So the winner of this will play Nafina in the quarterfinals. It's not necessarily a prize, is it? The loser plays Ballyboden. That's also not necessarily a prize. Either way, it is a tough route. So Joe Fortune, with no real incentive regards who you're playing in the quarterfinals, and the fact that the two of them are through regardless, does this match matter?
I think it matters on the basis it's a championship match, and you know, when you're Kilmacud and Cuala and you're so in proximity of where you live, I think it does matter. But to a point of results wise and who you have next, no, it doesn't. I've been really impressed with Crokes this year, Oisín, and I've said that, you know, from the new guys and young guys they've introduced. Now they've Constantine back in again. Their bench is frightening, to be honest with you, from a club perspective, and I think from a Cuala perspective, Colm Cronin and Con not being there, Keane obviously not being there as well, there's a huge changeover and turnover of players from the team that, you know, brought that, I suppose, Dublin hurling to the really top table in Leinster Club and All Ireland. But look, it's a bit of shadow boxing here now as well. I'm sure Bowden and Nafina's management will put the feet up here now and see who have to win. The last one's strange, like Nafina won the last game, yet third in the group. Credit to the Vincents, you know, a really historically good, strong club in football and hurling in Dublin, and what Pat Gilroy has done in the case of a year. But he'll realise too, they're into a semi-final, they top the group, but that's nothing else. They'll want to be in a final and they'll want to win it, and they'll rattle whoever they get in the semi-final as well, Ush. But yeah, look, I fancy, I think, Crokes to win this, and possibly to win it well. But I think there's some, when you look at the Cuala bench that are there, you know, towards what it was years ago, there's a changing of the guard probably in that Cuala team. But look, they've got some really, really talented players as well. Sean Moran, you know, Jake Malone, really, really talented guy. Liam Murphy the same, Andy Power, John Shane and Sean Brennan, Simon Timlin. So they've still some guys there. Dermot O'Flynn from the team that won in All Ireland. But I think today, if Crokes are what they were the last day, what we saw them, they're going to really be up against it.
Two changes for Kilmacud, Crokes. Lucy and Grogan don't start. O'Casig and Sheehy do. Before we start the game, let's talk about the team who aren't here. Lucan, they're on the bye weekend this weekend. They've already won the group. So that means they have a 4-week wait, possibly more actually. 6 weeks, isn't it? Because it's 2 weeks to the semi-final. Yeah, so they have a long wait to the semi-finals because they haven't played in the last 2 weeks. They won't play for the next 2 weeks.
That's right,
then,
so 6 weeks.
6 weeks of a break till the semi-final. We'll come back to that point in a second because Considine is right into it here. Considine's still going. No penalty. The scramble continues. Malone trying to take it out. Pulled on.
Goal.
And in. And it was Roach.
Constantine, he just doesn't know anything else except
goal. It was Whiteley, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, but he takes the ball and he's straight at goal every single time. You know, he never ever. He's an incredible, you know, player when he's fit. He's been so unfortunate this year for Dublin and for Crokes as well, picking up niggly bangs and injuries and hip issues and knee issues. But if they can keep that fella right, he's a game changer.
Ball floated down, sliding onto it there was O'Flynn. O'Flynn into the corner. Swept up. Making his way out of defence is Kenny. He's had an impressive season so far. O'Rian. Cuala have that extra man back, but they've conceded the free.
Owen is lucky there not to get a card probably as well, because it was, you know, on the back of Oisín's head. But big start for Crokes here. Like, think about what Cuala have lost over the last couple of years as well, with Sean Tracy and David Tracy as well. Like, they've lost a serious amount of players. You know, Colm Cronin not available today. Con Keane. There's a, you know, Oisín Goff and, you know, Paul Shute from the team that they had. I just think Crokes were motoring along. They were okay the last day, and they still put a massive scoreline up. And, you know, they could do the same here today. And Cuala need to get into the game quick, because if not, if they allow this Crokes, they're ruthless enough as well.
Sean Moran, one of the old stagers of this Cuala team, there for all the good days, wants some more of them. Here's Andy Power, Veal for company. Good ball by Darragh O'Connell, the carry man. Storming up is Shannon. Dara Toomey looking for Jamie Conroy, not finding though. Good defending. Cuala didn't give up on it. Toomey's given away the line ball, but again, it stopped Crokes getting up the field quickly.
Yeah, good tackle, really good tackle. Good forward play as well. You want your forwards working hard, and in fairness to young Toomey there, he got in the ball to give Crokes that line ball. This fella Kenny impressed me the last day as well. He's
Alex Considine looking outside for O'Rourke, but it's well defended by Sean Moran.
the back.
O'Rourke trying to arch over the ball. Real scramble for it here. Veal over it there. There was a tug back on the Cuala man there, Shannon. So it's a free, and it was well spotted in fairness by Sean Stack.
Yeah, we commented on that in the first game. Again, you know, you've Chris Mooney on the line there, Sean Stack, and you know, Tom Gleeson as well. Like, the standard refereeing has really come up in Dublin, and he saw that pull back, and it gives Sean Brennan a chance here now maybe to go for it.
Sean Brennan more than capable of landing this. Granted, he is against a stiff enough breeze, a cool enough breeze as well. As we were saying in the first game, winter is here, and there's just that. There's always that day, isn't it, where you turn up and it's gone from summer to winter hurling. Today is that day. Here's Brennan.
It's a brilliant strike by Sean. Is it?
It had the legs, not the accuracy. The air that bit thicker as well. It's just, it's made that leap, hasn't it?
But it has, Oisin, but the only thing I'll say is, and people, real hurling people in Dublin will notice, like when the lights come on and the light is like it is there now, like in 2 weeks' time, there's going to be knockout championship hurling in Dublin. That's a free.
Tripped up by Conall O'Toole, that was Brendan Kenny.
So like you can imagine, you win today, you know, you play in Fina, you lose today, you play Ballyboden. Like there's some really big games coming up now in 2 weeks' time.
A draw does the same thing as a Crokes win, by the way.
It's a huge, what you said there on a few minutes ago on the Lucan thing, like 6 weeks out from a game. Like I think they're playing this weekend, and I'd imagine they'll take a game next weekend too, because it's 6 weeks without a real competitive game is a long time for I suppose the way the structure with the bye week, their bye week was their last week.
I suppose you can play teams from Ulster as well. They'd be the likes of Schlockneal, they'd only be dying for a game. Here's O'Rourke.
It's a great free.
Fantastic free. 2 in a row for him. Crokes cruising at the start here.
Go back to what I said a few minutes ago as well in the last game, that the free taking is so, like the clubs that have hit the pinnacle of club hurling have that 9 out of 10 shooter, the TJs, and you know I suppose Paul Ryan for Bowden. You know, again when Cuala were at the top, David Tracy didn't miss a free, and I think it's really important.
Picks out Andy Power. Power throws it off to Toomey. Toomey. Good score, well worked score.
It was Andy Power, was it, got that one?
It was Toomey in the end who finished it. Andy Power did a lot of good work in the lead-in. Conway. O'Rourke. Lovely feet by O'Rourke. Is it matched by a lovely finish? Looking for his first from play. Hasn't got it.
One thing that's really impressed me about Crokes this year is their ability to put ball to hand. We said in the last game, a lot of ball was hit the ground. It gives the forwards that less of a chance to win it, but their ability to put ball to hand is very, very impressive.
Brennan. Looking for Toomey. Hayes. Roach comes to meet it. Does get it. Roach has Whiteley running off him. Whiteley runs onto it. He could be in for a second goal. Whiteley! Good stop by Brennan. Whiteley! Couldn't poke it in.
Brilliant save by Sean Brennan.
Well, that's why he is Dublin #1. He has some competition for that spot. But that was a fantastic save. Here's Sean Moran. Conroy. Conroy got the shot away despite the attention of the defender and gets a magnificent score.
Yeah, big turnover there, like what should have been a goal for Kilmacud, and the ball goes over the bar for Cuala.
Sheehy. Ryan. Left behind by Kenny, unusually so. Here's the call from the goalkeeper. That's Eddie Gibbons. We were talking about the battle to be Dublin #1. There's some battle to be Crokes #1 as well. Ben Hines, who's on the bench, is a very, very good keeper. He's a very good forward, this lad, Shane Veal. Considine smothered. Really good block. Great work by Darragh O'Connell.
Yeah, too slow by Alex there. And again, he's too far out the field for me as well. He needs to be in closer. That's the thing he has to work on. Just on his feet there as well. It's just too slow of a strike.
Where's this ball going to go? Veal is going to try and intercept it. Veal trying to shake off the defender. Pops it off to Bill O'Carroll. Bill O'Carroll found Conway. And Conway finds a point.
Yeah, good score. bit sloppy from Cuala there as well. Even a little bit sloppy from Crokes. They'll be so disappointed not to finish that chance that I think it was Fergal that had, but because they were in, and I suppose Cuala have got a couple of scores on the board, but Crokes, without being even in second gear yet, are well ahead.
Ball goes loose. Came off a Cuala man last. You can feel the intensity just rising ever so slightly. If there's nothing on this game, I don't think anyone told these two. They are old rivals as well, and I don't care what's at stake. You want to beat your rival regardless. Sheehy, a double winner last year. Here's Gibbons.
And Cuala will always remember as well. Look, they won 2 Club All-Ireland, so whether this team, they've got some great hurlers still there, but whether it's on the decline,
that was brilliantly stepped on by Roach into the path of Whiteley.
Wide.
Yeah, wide. How he kept that in play, I'm not sure, but Whiteley actually knew what he was doing as well and ran onto it.
But all of these teams will want to emulate what Cuala did a number of years ago, and so the likes of Crokes, who have that panel now capable of possibly doing it, will want to, as many times as possible, to try and get one over on their neighbours.
Dara O'Connell. That's a great ball. Catch. It's a great catch. Is it a great score? No, he was unfortunate with the shot, Liam Murphy.
Con is a huge loss in there. Like what Con did so well for Cuala in the time when they actually won their Club All-Irelands was the type of ball he got, and he would have always taken the man on. So be interesting to see will he tog now for a quarter final.
Falls away of Andy Power. Shannon. O'Flynn, take him on as a shout. He does take on Bill O'Carroll. Gets his shot away. O'Flynn. Well, it turned out to be a high dropping ball, and no one challenged it. No one got in there. Here's Sheehy. Crokes playing their way out. Good take by O'Cossack. Long ball out of defence, O'Rian.
Back.
Very good bump there by Owen O'Callaghan, but not giving up on it is Alex Considine. O'Callaghan doing the hard work and doing it well. Shannon. Shannon away. Crokes have outnumbered Cuala in or around that region. Kenny sweeps it up.
Yeah.
And ran out of room.
Yeah, on his left-hand side, just stepped it over the line and the ball went out.
It's interesting with the likes of Kenny. They would see an extra man as traditional hurling, if that makes sense. Young fellas like that, and young people like that, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense, because the way the game has changed. But Kenny's, he's very athletic, very strong, but there's one thing that he needs to improve. He has a chance there probably to break the line, but with the extra man back, that kind of comfort blanket gave him a chance a small bit. But fair play to Cuala as well. They cover back, and it gives them a chance now with a big chance for a line ball.
Here's Conall O'Toole. Saw a good one from Lambert, wasn't it? Or was it Durkin?
No, Lambert in the last one.
Gavin King hit a good one as well.
That's well wide.
That's well wide. I had the air, but the breeze making it difficult.
Oisín's he's so cute at trying to get space. Like Sean is holding him there, but he's away. You can hold him all you want, but he's such great feet, Oisín O'Rourke.
He's got speed off the mark as well. O'Rourke. Whiteley is there as an option, takes the shot on himself, and when you score, it's the right decision.
You wouldn't see that at home, from the camera angle that we had there, but Sean was holding him, and Oisín kind of just spun away into that pocket of space. Such an intelligent hurler, especially at 11 as well. It gives him a little bit more room.
It's an enjoyable match so far, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Here's Owen O'Callaghan. Trying to get it under control. O'Toole. Sheehy with the just smash out of defence. You don't see that too often, do you? Guys just pulling on it.
No, you don't, but he's a fine player. And again, we said, I think the last day that we were in, or a couple of weeks ago, in fairness to the management from Crokes, they took a big gamble last year, the year before, to kind of go with that youthful team that was coming up. And some of the players, Lucy, Ryan, O'Rian, I know Grogan's not there today. He's a fine player. I think Bill is the only person that's staying. And I heard the shout there a few minutes ago to take him on, maybe trying to expose Bill for his pace, but you can try that all day, and Bill will get back, he'll get a hook and a block and a hit in, and in fairness to Crokes, as a club, they took a massive decision to go with the youth rather than maybe the players that were there, and it's got 2 county finals brought out to Clubhouse.
Dara Purcell. Brother Sean is on the bench today, which is interesting considering how well he played the last time. Yeah. Well, maybe they're doing a bit of experimenting. That's a good turn by Roach. Roach inside. Roach gets the shot away, and
score.
Roach gets the score.
Super score. they've such quality, Oisin, as you know yourself from being close enough to a senior player with them. But look, they've such quality on the bench in their underage structures. The people that they have involved in hurling out there.
It's a high enough challenge from Dara Toomey. Veal went to ground.
I'd say he's going to get a card for that.
Yeah. If by close to a senior player you meant I stood beside some of the senior players once, then yes, I was close to a senior player.
Senior player.
In my senior years, yeah, maybe.
Again, credit to the Crokes management. Like, if they're changed, the last day we were in here, Sean Purcell really impressed me from warm up the whole way through. And maybe the likes of young Roach is doing well, and Trey, obviously Considine was injured the last day, and we still have to have Ronan Hayes back into this as well, Oisin, at some stage. I'm sure for the quarter final.
Hayes on the bench today, along with Sean Purcell, who we already mentioned. Colin Crehan, a man who can put the hand up and win ball. It's a strong enough bench, isn't it?
That's a brilliant free by Oisin.
O'Rourke puts it over. Sean Brennan gets us going again. He's made one of the saves of the season so far. Cuala looking to respond. All of a sudden, by the way, they're 5 points behind. But that gap will be reduced now. 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, Jake came out really well. Jake has had a couple of injuries over the last while, but he's come out really well with the ball, and he's trying his best to kind of bring that leadership back to the half-back line, because Sean was struggling for a few minutes there with Oisin. Quaylen Conway seems to be the guy who's calling the shots for puckouts, and again, for people that are not here, their setup on puckouts is very impressive. And the constant call of reset from the line, and like they're putting big work into this. You can see they're not happy just to. They're going to have a big game the next game now against Nafina if they win this.
That hits the roof of the toilets in the shop behind the stand there. And someone in one of those houses now has a free slitter. That's a chop down. It's a foul. It's a free. It's Crokes who get it.
Again, though, I don't think any more than a free. I think, Jay came in there, ball high in the air, and Sean is happy enough to keep things moving.
O'Rourke jogs over to it. Bill O'Carroll was standing over it just for a second, but O'Rourke said, "No, you're okay, I'll take this."
Whiteley's been poor for Crokes and quiet so far. That chance going inside, he'll know himself. Like, he's a serious player. I rate Fergal really highly, but he can see just the body language is a bit low at the moment, so he just needs to get a snipe a ball, because he's capable of scoring 6, 7, 8 points in a game. So it won't be long now till he'll get the mojo back again.
He scored a goal in the first minute, but as you say, from play hasn't been as involved as he normally would be. Here's John Shannon. Brennan with lots of space to run into, chooses to take on the shot instead. Sean Brennan, his team needed boosts, and they haven't got it.
It's the puck out this every time. It's incredible the movement they have off the ball.
Kenny.
Athleticism to get into spaces.
Kenny, who's a decent rugby player as well, finds Whiteley, who's tangled up by Simon Timlin. Whiteley gets the ball away. Running inside was Conway. Conway gets... Well, I'm sure he intended to get a shot away. He got what was kind of a pass away, but there was no one in there. Here's Darragh O'Connell. Oh, what a delicious take that was by Shannon. Looking for O'Connell. O'Connell keeps it going. In hot pursuit is Dara Purcell. O'Connell.
Really
Purcell didn't give up on it, but a good kick to O'Flynn. O'Connell using that Kerry footballing skill there. But it's Brian Hayes who has it now. Brian Hayes looking for Considine and finding him.
It's the ball he loves now.
Oh no, Callahan, what can he do to stop Considine here? Considine just runs at him. Considine still going. Took the wrong decision in the end. Easy to say from up here, I know. Sean Moran, well, fumbled it at first, but then got it back to Sean Brennan. The good players always find a way, and Sean Moran is a good player. Speaking of good players, Ono Callahan. Crokes looked to turn it over, trying to slap it into his own hand was Brian Hayes. Now it's Dara Purcell. Roach, the shot was kind of smothered. Moran escorts it out over the line.
That's poor.
It's the 65 though. And look, again, it's very easy to say that from the calm of the commentary box, but had he taken it, he had two players with him.
He'll be disappointed with that now, and again, he probably hit Fergal on the outside as well. And it's little small things like that that they have to get better at. But look, for me, they're a really impressive team, Mushin. I just think Purser around the middle of the field as well. He covers every blade of grass. You know, the movement that they have from puckouts, and maybe that's, I suppose, interesting to me, and it would be great to show the people at home that as well, that their movement from puckouts is incredible to find pockets of space, and Eddie is really, he's finding it well, and when they go short, their backs are capable of putting the ball really, really good inside to that half forward line, who just tend to break to the wings at the right time.
O'Rourke
yeah,
nails the 65. St. Bridget's 1-5, Whitehall Colmkill 6 points. That's the score at 15 minutes gone in the first half of the other game in the group. That game has absolutely no bearing on this. Timlin gets it down the line. Here is O'Flynn, who hits it wide.
That was a brilliant puck out by Sean Brennan. Again, Timlin made a great run that he's done for years for Sean, and you know, it was a really good puck out into space, but just a poor wide at the end.
Bridget's and Whitehall, regardless of who wins that, by the way, they're both in the relegation playoffs. They're just basically playing today to decide who plays who, but a win would be a big deal. A win would provide a bit of spark, a bit of momentum.
Whoever wins that plays Fogs, is that right?
I can't remember who finished fourth and fifth in the other.
Yeah.
For St. Bridget's, they'd be really frustrated because they put it up to Cuala, didn't they? I think they actually played fairly well against Lucan as well.
There was only a point or two in some of their games. The last day we were in here, they had a poor day at the office. But look, there's just enough. They were missing 4 or 5 of their starting the team today. 4 or 5 of their better players, but they won't panic. There's enough leaders in that Bridges team to realise that it's a tough year for them, but just need to stay up.
Sean Moran gets a really good point for Cuala, a really necessary point for Cuala. Their first since the 14th minute. Considine couldn't hang on to it. It's swept up by Toomey. Conroy. 2 Crokes players there. They both missed it. Nice turn by Jamie Conroy. But Crokes just got behind the ball, made it awkward, and now Kenny comes away with it. O'Casig. Roach out in front. O'Callaghan following.
Considine's away, like he's 100 yards from goal. He needs to be in closer if Crokes want that goal threat of him inside.
Dara Purcell. Whiteley breaks the line, gives it back to Purcell. Purcell pops it over.
Serious engine, Ocean. He's everything, you know, a bit more, obviously a bit more physicalness to him over the next couple of years, but he has everything to be a top class hurler for Crokes and for Dublin over the next couple of years.
Well, I was talking to one of his neighbours who lived beside him during lockdown, and they said that every day him and the brothers were on the green in front of their house, pucking around and just perfecting the skills.
It's funny you say that. There's families, and it's the same in Cuala and Bowden, I'm sure, and other clubs as well, but there's families in Crokes in particular that seem to be really putting a massive emphasis on hurling, and brothers and families out there that are, and I know of a couple of myself that, I remember being out in O'Rourke's house one day. Barry was the minor captain in 07, and he said the best, because Shane played for Dublin at the time as well, underage, but he said the best is yet to come in Usheen, and like, there's huge, but that goes all around Dublin for you know, from Vincent's all the way over to Cuala. There's families that are just this Dublin hurling project, I suppose. It just needs to find a couple of new forwards to kind of push it on over the next couple of years.
Well, I know people think that city clubs are different to country clubs, and in some ways they are, but in other ways it's the exact same.
Absolutely.
Bands of brothers and sisters making up teams and providing the core of a team. Liam Murphy puts that one over. It's a good score. Ryan. Back to Gibbons. Running out to try and meet it is Oisín O'Rourke. He got a few yards there on Sean Moran. Moran slips. It allows O'Rourke the time and space to get a shot away and to get a point.
Still think he has something to offer at the next level up as well. Like he's obviously being criticised for his stature and his size, but his feet and his ability to get away from Sean Moran there as an 11. Maybe not in the corner anymore, but there's no 6 in Ireland would want to stand beside him.
Cuala, long probing ball. Ryan is waiting. Ryan kind of shielded it away, but Liam Murphy hasn't given up on it. Murphy has a bit of help in the form of Jamie Conroy. Here's Jamie Conroy. And that's a good score by Jamie Conroy.
And well worked as well inside from Liam Murphy. Again, Liam has impressed me every time we've seen him, and you know, you've said the same as well. He's a fine player. It's just the players that are missing, Con and Colm especially, with the players that they have available to them.
Orion, back to Gibbons.
Cuala allowing that an awful lot to have Eddie on the ball, and Eddie's one of the best distributors of the ball in Dublin, like, and they're allowing that ball to come out.
Brian Hayes, like a greyhound.
He's unlucky. He had a really good game the last day we were in as well. Hayes got a goal, broke down through the middle. He really covers ground a lot, but just poor shot selection there.
Picked up by O'Flynn. O'Flynn gets the shot away.
Good score.
Yep.
All came from Jake Malone's work as well. You know, he got on top of Quayle and Conway out in the ground here, won that dirty ball on the ground, and a good score for Cuala. It's back to a 4-point game all of a sudden now. Like, you know, Crokes have kind of taken the foot off the pedal big time.
Right. Can he turn his man? It's Conway. He's done really well. It's Roach, I beg your pardon. And Roach nails it. Can he get a shot away?
Good block.
Oh, what a block that was by Shane Veal. Blocking down Mikey Conroy.
Malone showing big leadership for Cuala there now as well. Like, he's not stepping back from a couple of challenges and a bit of off the ball stuff there now as well. And he's telling a couple of lads around him to start waking up a bit. But blood's up here now for Crokes.
Shane Veal is to go off. Brian Hayes is drawing attention.
Just been told the scoreboard is wrong.
Yeah, it's 111 to 7 points. This is what the linesman was saying there.
Because we thought it was back to a 4-point game when the ball was going on the far side, so it's 111 to 7.
Yep, Sean Stack just radioed over to make sure all was okay. He spots everything, doesn't he?
Yeah, to my detriment at times.
Here's O'Rian.
Again, Sean's letting it go too. Like, it's great. Like, we are lucky Oisin over the last couple of years. It's really improved.
Oh, Moran's clearance is blocked down, but it falls to Shannon. And Shannon escapes the clutches of the Kilmacud Crokes man. And then wins the free.
Bit of a lull. We had a great opening, kind of 15. It was kind of tit for tat, and then, you know, there's been a bit of lull in the last kind of 10 minutes or so. But again, watch, and this is something that's catching every time that Cuala have a chance or an opportunity for a free to set up on the Crokes puckouts. It's something new they've definitely added this year to what they were doing for the last couple of years. So everybody retracts down, even midfielders, the whole way back down the field, and just like. The Cuala backs there are wondering, okay, am I marking this fella? Am I staying? Am I going? And you'll see they break into pockets then from Gibbons on the puck out.
Murphy. Wide. So Crokes by 7 at the moment. Gibbons. Sheehy. Ryan. Ryan down the wing. He's asking a lot of Whiteley. Whiteley doesn't mind doing the work, but Jake Malone did really well. Trying to get there is O'Flynn. It's a battle with Bill O'Carroll. Bill O'Carroll tried to get it in hand, but he still won't give up on this. Him and O'Flynn battling away.
Bill did brilliant here.
He did. And Purcell showed a great touch. Now, can he show a clean pair of heels? Purcell has to go off the stick now. Considine. No, but it might fall kindly. No, Sean Brennan does well, despite the attentions of Oisin O'Rourke. Andy Power. Conroy. Trying to run onto this is Shannon. He's fouled by Brian Hayes.
Mark Rogan, big loss for Crokes today now. Like, you know, he had done well over the last and has had a really good year for Dublin as well. So whether he's injured or away, or, you know, he's not He's not there anyway.
Murphy. Gets a score that was absolutely necessary. Crokes have a man down. That's Sheehy.
Yeah, he's been unlucky with injury. I just hope that's not a reoccurrence of a knee issue. Really good player, like really solid young fella.
Kieran Darling.
Yeah, the Kieran's coming on, and that's the worry. They'll probably have to put Bill back in at 3 maybe.
Mm.
Looks okay.
Gibbons. Well, the blood sub is in for Kilmacud Crokes. That's Sean Purcell. Made quite the impact last day. Speaking of impact, Dara Purcell, his brother. Bit of a loose ball. Conroy trying to get away from Roach. Gets it back to Brennan. Brennan with plenty of time and space to think about what he wants to do.
Great ball.
Shannon, oh, he fumbled it. Here's Dara Purcell, who seems to be all over the place in a good way. Will he go for the shot? He will. Will he get the score? He won't. Frustration.
Couple of
Brian
poor
Hayes.
wides, yeah, poor wides Oisin for both teams over the last while. Like that, this last kind of 8 to 10 minutes has been poor fare. But again, it goes back to what you said at the start. What's really up for stake here now?
Andy Power fumbles, retrieves, gets the pass away. Oh, it's fumbled again. Intercepted. Oisin O'Rourke tried to get it, having a nibble as Conway, but Cuala somehow got the ball back. That was John Shannon. That was excellent. Here's Owen O'Callaghan. O'Toole with Sheehy following. O'Toole.
Tackle.
Great tackling by Sheehy.
I'm surprised how far that Crokes have Constantine out. Like he's going back in there now, but there's a massive amount of space inside, and I think Alex as well is probably he's been missing the last couple of games, so he's a bit of work to do now fitness wise over the next couple of weeks too, because he's blowing hard there. But you know, Oisin is making all the space. He's been tightly marked now because he had the beatings over the last while there of Sean Moore, and so they've switched Owen O'Callaghan onto him now.
Hockey style little flick there by Darragh O'Connell. Down the line it goes from Malone. Pops out for Sean Purcell. Considine has only one thing in mind here, but he's got O'Reen running inside.
Oh.
Considine wasn't fouled, says the referee. Cuala bring it out. Trying to run onto it, O'Flynn. He's a big unit, isn't he, O'Flynn?
He is, yeah, but Bill is well able from.
He is indeed. Here is Bill O'Carroll. Roach has Whiteley with him. Roach off the stick. Roach.
Oh, great
that's
score.
exquisite.
Brilliant score. Brilliant score. That call by Sean there again. I think he said that he just got the ball, even though it was up towards the top end of Constantine. But Constantine, look, I really rate him, because every time it's every manager's dream to have a forward who wants to win his own ball and take the man on every time.
Sean Purcell squirts out, but Darragh O'Connell tidies it up. Brennan. Timlin.
Good hit.
Oh, very good hit. Him and O'Rourke coming together. Two men who know what it's all about in the go-ahead Dublin Senior Club Championship. Sean Moran, speaking of which, he was blocked down but retrieved it. Timlin. Cuala trying to work it through the lines. Here's Conroy, who fumbles. Trying to steal it back as Conway. Bill O'Carroll in there. Cuala keep it going through Shannon, but then it's Brian Hayes. O'Cassick.
Oh, this fella he glides across the top of the ground.
Darragh Purcell.
It's a great
Wonderful.
Score.
Well, it is not do or die today, but I think Cuala will be disappointed with their performance so far. Here's John Shannon. These two have played some classics over the years in the Dublin Club Championship.
Kenny, yeah.
Kenny, he's going for it. Kenny.
There's your score.
What a score
of the day. What a player as well, Oisín. He's a really good young lad, and he's coming through. I know he was looked at in defence for Dublin for a while, but he was playing up the forwards, I think, at the start of the year when we came into the first couple of games. But he's a fine player.
And that's half time. 1:14 plays 8 points. What have you made of it, Joe Fortune?
Yeah, look, it started off really good, and maybe the last 5-6 minutes of the first half have been okay, but a little bit of a challenge match feel about it, I think, in around the middle. I think there was a 10-minute lull there, but look, I think what you said earlier on is really true. These two teams are true, and it's very obvious, but there's pride on stake of the pride of the south side, or whatever you want to call it, on the basis that Cuala have been the benchmark for so long. I've been really impressed all year with Kilmacud. Their forwards are moving, their ability to win their own ball, they're ruthless when they want. I think they need to get Hayes and this man here that's walking in front of us now, Constantine, back fit as soon as possible, because he looks like he's carrying a small bit of an injury. Not injury, but just he needs match fitness.
Yeah.
As you see him walking in there, like, as well. Fergal Whiteley impresses me every day. He'd a lull he was poor in the kind of second 10 minutes, if that makes sense. But it's hard to find a fault with Crokes, and I think again they're only in second gear. If they can get into fifth gear by the time this championship ends, and by the time they get to Leinster, they'll have a fair shot at a big significant year for them, I think.
Let's have a look at the highlights of the first half, starting with this Whiteley goal. A bit of a scramble, but well finished.
Yeah, Constantine ran at the fence again. It was on the ground. It was just ball kind of scrapping around, and Fergal kind of sniping as he does. But then he went quiet after that. Oisín has been brilliant on the frees. We mentioned it earlier on, the importance of having a 9, or like, he's a 10 out of 10 shooter today. He's been exceptional on frees and 65s. Again, Cuala, like, in fairness to them, like, they keep coming back. Jamie Conroy's had a score or two again. Lee Murphy has been impressive. Haven't really seen much of Darragh O'Connell. Sean Moran, was Oisín gave him a run around for a while, but Sean will come back in. I think Jake Malone has been very good for Cuala at times. John Shannon's worked really, really hard, but they're up against the forward line, the touch, the physique, the athleticism, the hurling. Like, that's a top class score. And I think if we were seeing scores like that in other county championships, Oisín, we'd be singing the praise. And I think in Dublin, people probably reflect on the negatives more than the positives at times. That we have some exciting forwards there. They're young, but they're coming through, and it'll take time. Again, Oisín, just consistently good. That low centre of gravity. His ability to take scores when he needs, that smartness to get off the 11. But Cuala haven't given up, and and they won't, because they're such a proud club. Such really proud hurling people there, and they've been so. But they're missing an awful lot. You take Cian O'Callaghan and Con and Colm Cronin out of a team, and David Tracy and Sean Tracy. Like, very few clubs would survive. We said the same about Bridget's when we were here the last day.
Bridget's, who were missing 4 or 5 of their top players the last day. It cost them, and we see that Crokes, or we have seen so far anyway, that Crokes are a team to expose you if you've any weaknesses or are missing players. Now, Cuala are not done yet, and that man has helped, Liam Murphy.
Liam Murphy's been good, yeah. Like, he's kind of carrying the physique and the positional sense of where Con normally is, but I wonder, will Con play in the quarter final now? And that's not a personal. That's just me wondering from a Cuala perspective. They'd hope to have Colm Cronin back, because they're looking, if the result stays as is at the moment, they're going to be facing their old foes, Ballyboden, in the quarter final, while Crokes will play in Afina.
That's the score of the day so far, Kenny.
Oh, exceptional. Made one mistake down in the bottom corner down here for a line ball at time, but he's been brilliant young player coming through. And again, I go back to the fact that there are young players there. It just needs time and the right people involved.
Well, half time here, it is Kilmacud Crokes 1:14, Cuala 8 points. That means that Kilmacud Crokes will play Nafina in the quarterfinals if it stays as is, and Cuala will take on Ballyboden St Enda's. We've got a score, by the way, coming through from O'Toole Park with the other game in the group is going on, but of course that game doesn't impact this, and vice versa. At half-time, Bridget's 3-9, Whitehall, Colmkill at 1-10. Both of those two teams are in the relegation playoffs, and nothing they do today will affect that. Remember, 2 teams go down from Senior 1 and 2 teams come up from Senior 2, so it is just a one-off relegation playoff that you play. It's cruel, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And the teams, it is. And the reason it's cruel is because those clubs, the Fogs, Plunkets, Bridget's, Whitehall, whoever it is that has, like, there's some massively passionate people in Dublin hurling involved in all those clubs, Oisin. And like when you come up, and I've seen it myself in the last 2 years, that when you come up to a division that the standard is higher, it's so hard to survive in it. And you know, when you get up there, you want to try and have 2 or 3 years to try and maintain those young lads in that environment. But you know, Fogs are finding it hard. They've got really good people out there involved in the back room. And Whitehall, you know, in fairness to them, have got some really top class Dublin players with Owen and with Dara Gray, and with Costello when he plays as well. So you know, Lee Gannon as well, if they play, may save them. You know, that's and keep them up in Senior A.
114 Kilmacud Crokes, 8 points Cuala, the score at the break. We'll be back with the second half. Join us for that. Cuala cruising as we head into the second half. Sorry, Kilmacud Crokes cruising as we head into the second half. 114 to 8 points is the score. What a great start to the second half commentary that is. Joe, keep me right.
Yeah, Crokes are cruising, and only in second or third gear rushing. Cuala have been reliant, like really, on Liam inside, and in fairness to Dara Toomey, who's worked hard, Jamie Conroy, but they're going to find it hard now. And the one thing that they need to do is stick with this for the first 10 minutes, keep it tight for the first 10 minutes, because, like you said, it's it's 114 to 8 points. There's 9 points in it, and I just think Crokes are in second gear. And they're exciting at the moment, and I think the big thing that there's massive pride in a lot of those Cuala lads. So I'd be very surprised if they down tools.
And it's the quarterfinals either way, no matter what happens
here.
Yeah,
it's a bit dead rubberish like that. Yeah.
So these two teams will have a game in 2 weeks' time, whereas Lucan will have had to wait 6 weeks by the time they play their semi-final. On his bike is Brian Hayes, gets it outside. Crehan is in for the second half to Clareman. Whiteley. He started the game with a goal. He starts the second half with a point.
Brilliant,
Fergal Whiteley.
And that's why, like, I have such high hopes for Fergal. I think he's a top player, and he had a 10-minute lull in the first half. But he's one of Dublin's best forwards when he's on song. I think he got 7 or 8 from play the last day. So really good guy as well. Really nice young fella.
Brennan. Intercepted by Kenny.
He's a revelation for me at cornerback.
Yeah, got the score of the game so far as well. Darragh O'Connell. Ryan, that is brilliant. Gets it to O'Carroll. Gibbons. Risky enough one towards Conway. Actually, Conway read it brilliantly. Leaves it off for Whiteley. Crokes hopping off the ground at the start of the second half. Here's O'Rian. O'Rourke. Did he play it off the man, Owen O'Callaghan, and did he get the line ball? He did. Clever play by Oisín O'Rourke.
He had a brilliant first half, Oisín on frees and getting away from Sean Moran as well. But Fergal was brilliant there on that. And again, that tenacious, tight defending inside is brilliant.
O'Rian. Is it drifting off?
Just slightly to the right.
The wind caught it. The wind which has calmed a bit, hasn't it?
It has, but again, you'd be disappointed at the two boys inside. Like Alex, when he's in there, you need to feed the ball inside. Like that's a shot from a wing back. And they're great when they go over, but I just think with the boys, with the space that Alex has inside, he'd want that ball played in.
That's well taken. O'Toole rides the tackle. O'Toole gets the shot away.
Good score.
Yeah, very good score.
Cuala won't lie down, Oisín. Like in the first half, in fairness, Michael Roach was exceptional, for the position that he's in. But Cuala won't lie down. They'll keep fighting and fighting and fighting.
And even if they go into the quarter-final with a loss, now there's a long way to go in this game, obviously, but even if they go into the quarter-final with a loss, you still wouldn't bet against them.
You wouldn't, but I think the way the last game went and the permutations in the table, it's very strange. Like this morning, if you had said, like, it's only the great mathematicians might have picked out, oh, here's a ball, it's dangerous.
It's going to drop. Considine's under it. Brennan, brilliant. Free out as well. And Brennan was brave because he knew that was coming.
And people criticise Sean at times for that high ball in, but that was really brave, good hands as well. And Alex is probably a bit lucky there.
Well, there was a foul off the ball. Shannon was being tugged back there by O'Casig, so it's a free into Cuala. And a chance to score 2 in a row. Something they haven't done a whole pile of in this game. They did it in the 5th and 6th minute with Toomey and Mikey Conroy getting scores. Did they do it at any other stage? Yes, they did. The 22nd, and then another one from O'Flynn in around the 23rd. So for the 3rd time in the game, they're looking to score 2 in a row. Murphy nails it. Oh, loose play. Cuala looked to pounce. Looked like there was a foul there. They get away with the Kilmacud Crokes. Here's Brian Hayes. Racing up beside him is O'Casig. Hayes finds his man.
A run, look.
Roach back in for the run of O'Casig. O'Callaghan got back. Or was it Malone? Either way, a Cuala defender it was. O'Callaghan. Andy Power. It's 2-on-2 inside there. Ryan wins it back easily enough.
They're so competent in the back, Sushin. They're so assured. Now, there's going to be bigger tests in the next couple of weeks, and have they really been tested yet? Are Cuala showing their full hand today? Maybe not.
Brian Hayes looking for Considine and not finding him, but Roach gets it, has a shot,
Wide.
and hits it wide. There is an element now of, you know what, just go for it.
Yeah.
What have you got to lose?
Yeah, there
it's
is.
cut loose a bit,
100%,
hasn't it?
it has, and there's not as much tight mark, and it's more like, are we going to show our full hand here today? We know what's in the semi-final now. We know what's in the quarter-final.
Well gathered, O'Casick. Whiteley runs after it. Pulls on it, but it's intercepted by Killian Shannon, who's played well today.
He has, and again in around the middle now, Cuala are starting to mop up a little bit of ball. Crokes have been a little bit careless with their distribution in the start of the second half.
Liam Murphy.
Yeah, that's the Liam Murphy we all know. Yeah. What a score.
We singled him out for praise earlier on. You can see why now. 3 points in a row for Cuala.
Back to a 7-point game, and like I said to you at the start of this, I'm under no illusion that these Cuala lads won't lie down, but Crokes have taken the foot off the gas, and you can see Kieran and that making changes on the far side now.
She has gone off. Kia McGowan has come in. So no loss of experience, really. O'Rourke. Purcell continued the run. Considine comes to meet him. Purcell goes for it himself, and you can understand why.
Great score.
O'Flynn, Duff as he's known, chased by 2 players. He's still going though. Hayes trying to stop him. O'Flynn still going. Hayes does.
Oh, that's harsh.
I was about to say Hayes does brilliantly, but the free was from well out, so you can argue that even though he gave away the free, he didn't give away a goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think Sean had a play. I didn't see the hand go up for advantage, but he let him play. Maybe he was fouled earlier in it, but he didn't foul him inside, and I suppose that's what caused frustration when he got back in there.
He was swatting the hurley around him. Not necessarily saying he was fouled. I'm just clarifying what happened. But it was good defending in a sense from Hayes, because he didn't allow him in on goal. He didn't allow him get a shot away. And I think, did he get away with the card there? Here's Murphy. Murphy puts it over. Gibbons. Conway. Purcell.
Oh, what a ball.
It was Roach, by the way, not Conway.
Purcell put the ball in his pocket there, and he dropped it.
Good interception. O'Casick has a look around. Dips the ball into the forward line. Oh, what a take that is from Roach, who bats it forward to Whiteley. He's already got 1 goal.
He won't miss that one. Brilliant. Again, like Alex was inside in his own, and the ball, like they remind me of a team, like when they go 1 or 2, when the other team get 1 or 2 back, they just step on the pedal again. Like, that's just class. And again, ball to his hand, breaks inside. Fergal had missed one in the first half, and I'd say, there was a couple of reminders given out to him as well, maybe from Sean. But when they get inside, they're so economical. Sean made a brilliant save in the first half and not taken away. But I just think this crew that's coming through in Crokes, with the right, and they have got really good management. They've won 2 county finals, but they could do something special if they keep the work. If they believe their own hype, they won't. But they're a really good team, really solid team. So
a little bit of pushing and shoving. No one wants to get sent off. We saw sending off in the last game. It did cost Ballyboden in the end.
And I suppose the longer implication of that is the likelihood is Niall Ryan won't be available for the next day. It's not even today. Like, losing today didn't really, the way the permutations went, didn't really mean much. But if Niall Ryan's not available for Ballyboden, it'd be a big loss in a quarter final.
Sean Warren wins the free.
I'd say Cuala's management are looking at this now going, we don't need to risk, if there's any risk of anybody here, we don't need to risk it, because we're 2 weeks out from a quarter final against Bowden. you can see some changes coming in now as well.
And that was the nearly the good thing for the two managers involved here, or the two management teams as they are now, that unlike Ballyboden and Afina and Vincent's, they knew that they were going to the quarterfinals before today, so they could pick their teams accordingly. They could give guys game time. They could experiment.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason Purcell wouldn't have started today.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He lit it up in here the last day. He was really, really good. And you know, the lads on the sideline there, Kieran, and the lads on the sideline obviously gave somebody else a shot today. But you have to be so careful with that as well, Oisín. You know, that softness can creep in. You know, if you don't kind of keep your number one team. But the lads in Crokes have managed that really well over the last 2 years.
It's a free into Cuala.
Again, there's something to...
No,
it's not
given the other way.
There's something to watch for the next data, because if you give... Like, there's a lot of silly, needless frees being given in that kind of 50-metre zone there, and, you know, the likes of Paul Ryan and Colin Curry, you know, will or should punish it from that distance.
Shea Gaffney is in for Cuala. And heading off is Dara Toomey. Well, the game's kind of been broken since the Whiteley goal, because there's been a lot of fouls and stop-starts. O'Rourke.
That's his first one, I think, he's missed today.
Well, from inside his own half, we'll forgive him. But will he's manager? That's the key. John Shannon. Cuala making hard work, but Roach doing great work, really just bottling up Michael Conroy. Mikey, as he's better known. Conway doing his best to try and retrieve now.
But that's a manager's dream. Like, look at the work rate of the club, the Crokes forwards there. The Cuala lads can't get out.
Pressure poured on O'Toole. He does well. That's a foul. Very, very loose by Crahan. One of those ones you have marked down before he even strikes it. Liam Murphy puts it over.
Yeah, he's been consistently good for Cuala today, in fairness. Has carried that full forward line a lot himself today, especially in the second half. Sean has obviously seen something up here now.
5 points already in the second half for Liam Murphy. Sean Moran being spoken to by Sean Stack. And he gets a yellow card.
Obviously, a bit of, because again, you know, for people that are not here, and you're trying to kind of paint a picture for people who are not, you know, the movement that the Crokes have, this linear setup that they have, it's not even like the normal one where people just bunch to one side or move to one side. There's constant movement in the middle, and then they just shoot. And Gibbons tends to be allowed to go short, which means the defender is the one that's actually delivering the ball to the person in the pocket. But it's an easy enough score, I'd say, for Oisín here.
O'Rourke puts it over. Not as free-flowing as it was.
No, it's kind of a bit of a challenge match feel to it now, Oisín, in the second half, to be honest.
It's bizarre that Lucan have already won the group, and yet we haven't really spoken about them a whole pile.
You know, you haven't, no, like, and the break that they have to them, they could nearly go on a J1 in the middle, because, you know, there's 6 weeks there that which is incredible. And I suppose with that two groups with the odd number, that's going to happen.
Shannon, what a run this is. Dispossessed in the end, just took too much out of it. Keane McGowan went to ground. The scramble is on, trying to get it as O'Flynn. Referee has spotted something. And it's a free out.
It's poor though, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah.
But again, it goes down to the fact that it's poor now, and it can be because the Crokes are going to win this, and they're going to be playing Nafina in a quarter final in 2 weeks' time, probably in Parnell as well, and Cuala are going to be playing Bowden.
So Lucan and Vincent's guaranteed their spots in the semi-finals. It's a close draw and an open draw. We'll come back to it because Considine is in here. Considine, Great block.
Should have passed it. You know, again, he'd a man, he'd roach a thing on the far side, and there's your clip now for this week for him. You know, he's brilliant the way he runs at goal. Alex is really, really good, but he should have passed it off.
All credit to Mikey Conroy, who got back and made the block. What a block it was. Shannon. O'Callaghan poked it on to Malone. Malone was a little bit loose there, but O'Callaghan was there to give it to Conroy. Here's Malone. Malone. Has he sniped a point? If he is, or if he has, it's a good score. It's a fantastic score by Jake Malone.
Yeah, he's had a good game now. Jake has been good today. You know, he's got on a lot of breaking ball. There was a couple of scores in the first half that came off his hard work, and you know, he's not going to drop. He's the heart of a lion, that guy, and he's not going to drop the flag for Cuala anyway. That's for sure. They need to get, like, look, to give them a chance in the quarter final, like a realistic chance. They're going to have to get Colm Cronin back. They're going to have to look to maybe have a conversation with Con as well, because without the two of them, they're missing two pivotal players in that forward line.
Kilmacud Crokes have scored 1-3 in the second half so far. Cuala have scored 7 points in the second half so far. So Cuala are winning the second half so far. Killian Shannon goes off. Again, I wonder if the game was in the melting pot, would that happen?
No, he wouldn't be off.
Whiteley. Whiteley, who is concentrated on goals so far, misses.
Again, the opportunity was inside to, you know, at this level, I think there's a couple more goals in Crokes here today if they want them. And again, maybe there's no real cards shown, like, you know, win the match 9-10 points at a canter, really.
Gaffney. O'Flynn. Well, listen, I'm sure Ballyboden and Nafina kept members of management in the ground to have a look at these two teams. What they learn regards tactics about the two of them, I'm not sure. Cormac Spain nails it. That's a really good score.
What they learned, look, from a Cuala point of view, the big thing, the Cuala won't, like, they won't lie down, and they'll keep going and going and going. Have they enough up front without a couple of lads that they're missing? You know, Sean, David, Colm, Con. You know, I don't know. But what you learn about Crokes is that anybody that they bring in, Oisín, is not weaker. And they've taken the foot off the pedal here, and this is the perfect game for Kieran and those lads on the sideline to be able to clip it during the week over the next 2 weeks and think and say, look, you know, you're in the quarter final against Nafina, and Nafina will punish you if you're going to be lackadaisy like this at times.
Trying to take off now is Purcell. Considine. Considine up against John Shannon. Considine takes his point.
Wide.
Well, he tried to take his point. It's wide. Shannon. Brennan. Brennan. Good catch. Great work by Bill O'Carroll.
Bill has had a good game, Oisín. Like, people question him, you know, at times, but in fairness, he's done well there today on you know, mark and tight, and I suppose Jim O'Flynn was put on him to try and expose him for pace, but you know, Bill has been around long enough now to realise what he can and he can't do.
Sean Purcell tries to intercept and does. Purcell trying to get away from O'Callaghan. Still Purcell. Good ball inside. Crehan with Purcell with him. Look at the pace of Purcell. Crehan's still going. It's a free in.
There was a free in, Sean, again, and you know, he called it right there. And if the hand pass had got off, I suppose Crehan was trying to give it to the player inside, but Purcell had taken off with him. Maybe that was a better option.
Purcell was outside Crehan there. Just the pace of Purcell. It's frightening.
Yeah, and the brothers the same. Like, it's like they don't run. Like they're real athletes. They just glide across the top of the ground.
O'Rourke, as you would expect, puts it over. Cuala driving. Andy Power leaves it behind. Purcell tries to swat it forward. Good block down by Duggan. Falls kindly for Sean Purcell. Aim towards Considine. It might be Oisín O'Rourke who gets there. It's Considine. Shannon hanging off him, still Considine. It took 2 to dispossess him. Here's Shannon. Cuala try and work it out. O'Connell. Sean Purcell. Sean Purcell. Just too many around him. He's slight, but he's a battler, isn't he, Sean Purcell?
I thought you were going to say something else there, but like he is, and the wet ground, like people are critical of smaller guys at times, but he is a hard, like he really is trying hard there, but just didn't come up into his hand. Great take.
O'Toole. That's a really good score. Oh, no, it's not.
Wide.
Yeah.
Just wide.
Just veered off. Crokes making another change. Well, I've spotted who has come on. That is Fionn O'Kelly. I'm just trying to spot who has gone off. It is Alex Considine. Good to get the minutes into him.
Yeah, good, and he looks like a man, you know, like who when he's on ball is so dangerous, Oisín. But you know, he needed the minutes today.
Yep.
Just puffing a small, but I thought at the end of the first half. But that's a really good decision by management too, because you don't need to risk another injury 2 weeks out now from a quarter final.
Well, I wonder how far Hayes is away and whether or not he'll be available for the quarterfinals. Trying to get it in hand is O'Cossack.
I think if you're Kieran, you might want to get 5 minutes into him today. You know, if you really need to use him for a quarter final, which I think they will. If he's anyway right at all, you'd want to get him in for 5 to 10 minutes today, just to get him a feel of it if he's training well. Now again, if he's unfit, you leave him open to a different injury. So maybe not. The lads over there will know enough to see where he's at.
Bridget's looking like they'll go into the relegation playoffs with a victory behind them and a 4th place finish in the group, which means they will play. And you remembered who finished bottom of the other group, don't you?
So so they'll play Fogs.
Fogs and Bridget's, okay.
Then Whitehall will play Plunkets.
2 tough games, 2 huge games. 2 huge games. Dara Purcell. Intercepted by O'Callaghan. Gets it out to his centre back, Sean Moran. Andy Power. Andy Power. There's just too many purple and gold jerseys back there, but in fairness, it's a red and white one that wins it. That's really good play. But he just couldn't keep a hold of it.
Chopped down.
Yeah.
Jake had done well for Cuala there again, like to intercept the ball and to get on top of it. But like as you said, like there's a wall of Kilmacud jerseys there.
It was Conall O'Toole who won the possession, but they couldn't keep their discipline. It's a free out to Crokes.
I think Mark Grogan is a loss for. I know Crokes are winning by whatever 9-10 points now, but I think Grogan is a loss for them there today because he kind of stabilised that middle, and I just think there's been a couple of frees given away and a couple of mishits that wasn't there the last day. Now we're obviously against this fella.
Roach.
Free.
Had the free coming anyway. And the umpires hadn't committed to a decision. I think Sean Stack has kind of bailed them out there. It was tough to tell from here whether or not that went over.
Because he really hit it, didn't he? Like,
yeah,
you know, he
yeah.
didn't just tap it over, he really hit it.
Yeah. O'Rourke.
Even there's not much of a whisper from the crowd even now. Like, and there's a small crowd here today, Oisín, as well. Now, look, the service is incredible for what it provides. Even my own family to see, you know, in different parts of the country. But you know, from a supporter's point of view, you know, you'd hope that in 2 weeks' time, when it comes to knockout stages, that we'll start to fill that side of the stand over there, because towards other county championships, you know, it's now again there's a lot on, I suppose, but it just even the lull of you're 10 points up.
Oh, that's a great ball. Now, can they finish it off? He keeps it going, Purcell. Was that a foul? Referee says no.
No, I don't think so. I think Sean's,
You mentioned the crowd there and this service. I don't think one affects the other. I've been coming to Dublin Club Championship games since the mid-2000s. The crowds, especially in the early stages, have never been huge.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's nothing to do with this. And I said, but if can you imagine without this, you know, the lack of people that would get a chance to see it?
That's true. Get eyes on your championship.
And Derek and those people that do the work in the background to promote it. Like, I think it's important from a football and a hurling perspective that we do that. But I just think, like, you'd expect more, and you will get more, I suppose.
Here's
it's a
O'Toole.
long championship as well, Oisín. You have to remember that too. There's a lot of games.
O'Toole Lost it. Ryan grabs it back. Gibbons. The target is Crehan. Moran does really well. Moran. Goes short. Jake Malone, who can score from long range, as we've already seen, but not on this occasion. One well by David Ryan, but following him all the way, Ronan
Brilliant,
Costello.
yeah, excellent.
Well, there's guys coming off the bench wanting to prove a point here. Costello's doing that. Here's
Yes,
Hayes.
it was a brilliant point. A brilliant point from you, that as in you want to be in this team now for a quarter final.
Purcell.
Just pushed
Nudged
off
off it there. Great play by Darragh O'Connell. A man with 2 AIB All-Ireland club medals in his pocket and numerous Dublin titles. Here is O'Reen. He's not done yet either, O'Connell, is he? Darragh Purcell. Him and his Crokes teammates want to deny O'Connell and Co more success, and everyone else as well. One back here by Des Duggan.
It's the perfect game as well, I think, for maybe for both managements, but especially for Crokes, because a lot of that play is sloppy and around the middle there, like it's real kind of over-elaboration stuff, you know, and it'll give Kieran and them a chance to really put the gun at them now this week, you know, that's not good enough.
Crehan, great block.
Oh,
Crehan gets it back again somehow. And that will create a banner roar. Colin Crehan, who's a decent handballer as well, puts it over.
Yeah, and great hands as well to win the ball the second time.
And who is from Clare, just in case you missed that earlier on. That's why I said banner roar. Now, I know you know that, Joe. You're tapping me on the back there, but people at home, they don't necessarily watch every game all the time, so they might miss things.
I don't think anything has passed that full back line. Like, they've been incredible today.
Back it goes off the stick of Whiteley. Here's Gibbons.
Don't think he's had to make a save, Ush, has he?
No. O'Reen. O'Reen looking for Purcell. It's a good take. It's not Purcell, it's O'Calla, who's also wearing a white helmet. He'll try and bounce back up Costello. He has been busy. O'Calla helping him out. Costello. Costello swats it to O'Rourke. He's converged upon, so he doesn't have the time or space to get the shot away.
Free.
But he wins the free. Well, nothing beats experience.
And it's like these players want to play all the games. Like they put like the club season is long enough for the club player where you're training from wherever, December, January, to get to a stage like this, and you don't want to be taken off to be minded because you want to play the 60 minutes, you know. But the likes of Oisin and that now who've been around, you might see, definitely seen another change.
Luke O'Loughlin has come in for Kilmacud Crokes as Oisin O'Rourke lines up the free.
Pity we didn't get to see Ronan today. Now it would be nice to see him back on grass again playing before. But look, he's another 2 weeks now to get ready for Nafina and the Burksons, I suppose, who'll be keeping a very close eye on him that day.
As far as I can remember, Hayes hasn't played Senior 1 this year, has he? So maybe you could get him playing with the Senior 2s or get him a couple of games elsewhere. Get game time into him. I'm not sure what way the regrading works.
I'd say the current group that they have, Oisin, if you've got 34 or 35 guys training out in the Senior A panel out there, I think an in-house game now would be good as anything for him, because you need to mind him now as well. Like he's had a really significant injury, and I suppose from a Crokes perspective, they're going to need him over the next 6 weeks, and after that, if they progress.
Yep, Darragh Purcell down the line for O'Calla. O'Callaghan, who has played well at cornerback for Cuala. Now trying to dig it out of Sean Purcell. Sorry, I know that in some counties you can play the lower grade so long as you haven't played the top grade. Andy Power intercepted. Brilliant work from Whiteley. Whiteley with Power bringing him down. It's a free in.
Really good work from Fergal. And again, you're 11 points up and a guy that's playing inter-county at times, like it just shows the kind of guy he is. His work rate is still what it should be last minute of a game when you're 11, 12 points up to dispossess and win another free for Oisin to top over.
Yellow card for Andy Power. And O'Rourke with another chance. And O'Rourke puts it over. Well, the last 4 in a row has gone to Crokes. They were on top even before that, but that has really seen them into a very comfortable position. Here's Dara Purcell. Purcell tries to work it across to O'Calla. O'Calla shot.
Yeah, good score.
Yeah, very good score.
Purcell's vision as well is just impressive every time. Like, he doesn't look for the easy ball, which was Oisin right beside him, but he spotted Fionn on the far side, and again, a good score.
Can Cuala get a couple of scores to get a strong finish? Again, won't make any difference. They'll finish third in the group now. They would only have finished second if they won the game. It was pretty straightforward between these two as opposed to the last game where there was 3 teams involved.
It's been a while though since Crokes have beaten Cuala by this. I remember, I think it was 18, where in the semi-final Crokes won it, and they went 9-10 points up, I think, in that game. But Cuala, as they did, came back and nearly pipped them at the end. But Crokes got to a county final. But it's been a long time since this, I suppose, distance has been between the two, and Cuala will have to. We'll have to refocus now during the week, Oisin, because in 2 weeks' time they're going to play Bowden, who are going to be hurting after today, and Cuala will be the same. It'll be very interesting to see can they get Colm back. Colm Cronin, I know, who's a doctor up in Mullingar at the moment as well, so you'd hope that he'll be fine for the next day to slot back in.
Football next week on Dubs TV. We'll have both games on Sunday, the quarter-finals. The games on Saturday, by the way, will be live on RTE. Spain puts it inside. Sheikh Afni. Crokes still putting in the tackles. Conway throwing himself around there. A little bit over-aggressive, free in.
You asked me a question earlier on about the having a 14 that can win its own ball, I think, from a different sporting perspective. But even looking at this, Cuala are playing that running game. On a day like today, it hasn't really worked at times for them, and you'd wonder, would that kind of more direct ball in around, because all Gibbons has done is hit puckouts, really. He hasn't been really tested, so you'd wonder, do they need to look at maybe changing that up a small bit?
Cuala stopping a run of Kilmacud Crokes with 6 in a row there with that point.
Back.
O'Calla with the tackle, an illegal one, free out.
And sometimes that defeat can be the kick up the backside you need. Like, Crokes were beaten in their first game by Lucan, wasn't it?
That's right.
And
O'Toole Park.
Yeah, and it made them reset again and kind of think that last year's over and we have to go and win this thing again.
And that's the game. 223 to 16 points, the final score. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, Crokes definitely value for their win. I think it was pedestrian enough in the second half, poor fare at times, kind of a challenge match feel to it. But I think going out, lads were probably somewhat maybe minding a small bit of themselves because they know what's coming now. They knew kind of their fate more or less before they came in at half time. Crokes were well on top. Cuala are missing their main guys, Oisin. I don't know whether they'll have an impact on this year's championship, but we'll see in 2 weeks' time. You just still have to give them every chance against Ballybowden in 2 weeks' time, because Bowden weren't impressive today. So it'll be I think we'll have 2 humdingers, because I think what's going to happen in 2 weeks' time is people are going to realise that you're going to a semi-final or your year is over, and that'll have something at stake,
Well, today, especially in the first game, big a game as it was, when you're not on the brink and when losing doesn't cost you your place in the championship, I don't care if it means a spot in the semi-final if you win. You're just not the same. The drive is not the same. it will be different the next day. Right, before we talk about the next day, let's just have one quick look back on this one, especially the second half highlights, and here they are.
Yeah, Crokes came out, did well. You know, at a stage there, I think you had mentioned it, that Cuala were actually winning the second half, but you know, the Crokes got scores when they needed to. You know, Cuala I just think that running game, I'm not really sure it suits the players that they have. Like Conal O'Toole got a good score there, again, played the ball inside. You know, in fairness to Liam Murphy, he carried the flag big time for a ball that was going in. I'd love to see a ball, I'd love to see Murphy on the edge of the square and a ball going into him and having that fight inside, possibly with a David Lucy or with a, you know, Sheehy, whoever's in full back. Again, this fella's a dancer, like he's an absolute, he's a gem that Crokes have there, and the brother's not far off him as well. But Dara Purcell has turned into a fine hurler, and he'll be somebody who'll represent Crokes and Dublin for years to come. Again, you know, I was critical of maybe of Fergal in the first half. I thought after the goal he kind of went off it, but he'll send a reminder of that clip, I'd say, to Sean Brennan this evening, because I'd say Sean had a few words with him when he missed it. Sean, it was hard on Sean today because, you know, he was under pressure. He was leading the line inside because he had to. In front of him, there was an awful lot of movement going on. This fella was good. Jake Malone burst through the middle there, put the ball over the bar, right hand side. You know, he never dropped the fight, but Crokes were well on top, pushing, and only in second gear. I think the biggest thing that's gonna that Kieran and the lads that are involved with Crokes management are going to be thinking about over the next while is who to have on the field to start and who have the field to finish. And I think coming into the critical games, you're going to need to have, like, they have some really good players, but they probably got 22 of them. So the big question is going to be who's our best 15 and who do we keep in as finishers, because they seem to have one for every line coming through. Their backs are very impressive. This fella Usheen, you know, he was a magician at times today. Got away from Sean Moore in the first half. His frees, I think he missed one from inside his own half, but other than that he was excellent. You know, creates an awful lot around him, and the likes of Fiona Kelly came in then as well and got some good scores, but Usheen was excellent for the full day.
What will Cuala take out of it?
I think nothing more, except they're going to a quarter final against Ballyboden. I think from, like, Jake Malone has struggled over the last while with injury, and he had a really good game today. I don't know if they'll take much more. They didn't seem themselves today, if that makes sense. They didn't have that same, like, there was a couple of even shoves off the ball, and normally, like, Cuala, that's a bitch of the whole back down the road to Dalkey again, but they weren't really that was missing from them today. And I don't like harping on about the fact that they are missing significant players from the team that they were. And we think of Cuala, and we think of, you know, the Paul Shootays, Noishin Goffs and David Tracy's, and they're all gone. But I would, if I was involved in Cuala management, I'd be having a coffee tomorrow somewhere with Con and saying, listen, just give us 4 weeks, we need you.
Yep.
You know.
So Kilmacud Crokes win here. St. Bridget's
maybe not in Simon Lambert's coffee shop, because I'm sure he wouldn't serve them to want to have come back, but okay. You know, you get my point.
Business is business. Yeah. St. Bridget's 317, Whitehall Colmkill 123, so that's 26 points to 20. Is that a draw? Draw game. Okay. Doesn't really matter in the context of the group, in a sense that they were both going to the relegation playoffs. We'll have the table updated, by the way, on the Dublin GA website very shortly, so we'll know who is playing who in the relegation playoffs. Remember, there's 2 relegation playoffs, and the losers of both go down, because 2 go up and 2 go down. Whitehall Colmkill, unfortunately for them, they're going to the relegation playoff, as are Bridges. That wasn't going to change today, regardless of results. Cuala will take on Ballyboden in the quarterfinals, and that means that Kilmacud Crokes will play Nafina in a repeat of last year, and Nafina will be driven for that, won't they?
They will, yeah, and I think that the next stat up on what you've just been talking about is nearly more interesting. Lucan and Vincent's are going to a semi-final, and I think, you know, they could be perceived, if you were to step back from I suppose previous championship winners, as being the 2 teams who would be new in a final. If that's the politest way I can put it, right? So they're in a semi-final now. So in 2 weeks' time, we come in here, and one of those 4 teams who we would have possibly envisaged at the start of the year of getting to a semi-final are going to be gone. It really puts it up the next. I think the next day in here is going to be great. I think, like, you're going to have, you know, Bowden and Cuala. I think it was 2020 Cuala beat Bowden in a county final. They met in 22. Cuala won it. There's been very little in it, but there's been a massive change in that team from Cuala, and there hasn't been a massive change in that team for Ballyboden. Whereas Nafina and Crokes, look, they've been in the county final in the last, like, if there's ever a time where you want to say to an Fina lad, this is the time, this is the time for them, because they've had 2 county finals, and surely they have ammunition in the locker getting ready to come. But Crokes, for me, Oisín, have been the most impressive team that I've seen this year, and only in second gear. And I keep saying that because they're capable of so much more, and they still haven't got Hayes back, and Constantine's only coming back in there today as well.
Okay, well, just to confirm, our quarterfinals, which will take place in 2 weeks' time, and Joe, you can keep me right here. Kilmacud Crokes will take on Nafina in a repeat of the last 2 go-ahead Dublin senior hurling quarterfinals. Cuala will take on Ballyboden. So there's only 2 quarterfinals because 2 teams go straight on to the semi-finals.
Which was the final? Which was the final the year before that. So you've had the Bowden and Cuala final in 2020, and then in 21-22 you had, so the 2 county finals.
Yep.
Are your
I get you
quarterfinals?
I see what you mean. Lucan and St Vincent's are already in the semi-finals. They cannot play each other in those semi-finals as group winners. So it's an open draw outside of those 2 teams. So you could well have a case of
you can't really say.
I'm getting myself confused here. So look, it doesn't matter if you were in the same group as one of the teams you're drawn against.
It's an open draw. Yeah,
it's an open draw. So if you played a team in the group, you can meet them in the semi-final. And just to clarify one more time, Lucan and Vincent's in the semi-finals can't play each other, and it's an open draw then outside of that for the semi-finals. And the 2 quarterfinals are Nafina and Kilmacud Crokes and Ballyboden and Cuala, and those games take place in 2 weeks' time. We should have them on Dubs TV. The reason I say should is because they're attractive games, and I think TG Cahir or possibly RTE will eye them up. And why wouldn't they? They'd be good games to have. TG Cahir have eyed up, RTE have eyed up the quarterfinals next Saturday, so they will be live on RTE. The games on Sunday will be live and free on Dubs TV. Keep an eye out on the Dublin GA social media channels for more on that, more on the hurling, more on everything else that's going on around Dublin GA. And of course, we'll have the confirmation of fixtures, as in where and when. Well, it'll be here, but when for the hurling up on the website, and everything else as well. I know we concentrate on Senior 1 here in both hurling and football. I am very much aware that there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, and you can keep up with that on the Dublin GA website as well. Now, I've just had confirmation that Whitehall Colmkill have finished 4th in the group. So Whitehall Colmkill 4th, St Bridget's 5th. And that's kind of odd, because when you think of it, St Bridget's, across the games against the 3 teams that got out of the group, if this makes sense, played a little better. Take the game against Crokes out of it.
So Whitehall play Fogs.
Yep.
And Bridget's play Plunkets.
Yep. So there you go. There's confirmation of Group 1. And again, you can go to the website to have a look for yourself to check out all the detail and all that. But there is the detail.
So that means as well, Oisín, that the two teams that come up this year, so one of the 2 teams will survive.
Yep.
So Whitehall and Fogs will play off. The loser of that goes down, and one of them will survive. And then Bridget's play Plunkets.
Yep. There we go. Right, that's it from Parnell Park. It has been a long but entertaining day. The real stuff, the knockout stuff, we'll say, starts next week. That's with the football. Then after that, it's back to hurling, then back to football, then back to hurling, etc. I hope you enjoyed today's matches. You can check out the highlights via the Dublin GA social media channels, and you can get the detail on everything that's going on in Dublin GA via dublinga.ie. Thanks to you for watching. We will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.